expressed in the following program are those of the program's participants and do not necessarily reflect those of station staff, management, and advertisers.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Happy Friday. Hey, how about that? The last Friday before Christmas, yes. Welcome to the show, everybody. Pushing the limits. Good to be here. Occupy Democrats Network, Washington Press Network, TikTok, Twitter, X, whatever it's called. President Elon Musk. Why don't we call it that? Welcome to the show. We got a lot to get to. Some great guests lined up for you today. And boy, do we have a lot to talk about. So as you know, Donald Trump has stated time and time again, on day one, he's going to pardon the January 6th insurrectionists. There's a new film out. It's a great film. I caught it last night, The Untold Story. And it's a story about what took place leading up to January 6th. And then, of course, that fateful day. And the director of that film, John Long, is going to be joining us here. Fight Like Hell, The Untold Story. So we'll be doing that coming up at the bottom of the hour. And obviously the big news that I want to get to right away is the fact that we might be having a government shutdown. We covered this yesterday. We're covering it today. And what's mesmerizing, and I would say embarrassing, is that Elon Musk and some of the MAGA Republicans are blaming Democrats when 38 Republicans voted against this bill last night. Let me repeat, 38. And it goes to show you again that Republicans do not know how to govern. And how did this all start? Well, let me give you a little bit of background if you haven't been following the news and share with you how this all started. They had a bill that was ready to go. Republicans and Democrats working on it together. Mike Johnson signed off on it. And then Elon Musk demanded the bipartisan bill be changed in an unhinged tweet storm. Because that's who the far-right Republicans look up to, right? They look up to President Musk. And apparently, that's the Democrats' fault, right? It's the Democrats' fault that Republicans can't get along, and 38 Republicans voted against this bill yesterday. That must be the Democrats' fault. Now, one of those Republicans that voted against this bill, a guy by the name of Chip Roy. Sometimes I agree with Chip Roy. Sometimes I disagree with Chip Roy. But in this situation, I'm 100% on board with what Chip Roy is saying. He's calling out Republicans. Now, this will probably end his career. Because as we've heard, if you vote against this bill, you're going to get primaried out. You know, Elon Musk threatening Republicans. We're going to primary you out. But Nikki Haley said something similar to what Chip Roy said, and I'm going to play you his remarks here in a moment. Do you remember when Nikki Haley was up there running for president on a debate stage? And do you remember when Nikki Haley was blaming Republicans accurately for the debt in this country and how much debt Republicans have gotten us into compared to Democrats? And I praised her for being honest in that moment. She had a moment of clarity, whatever you want to call it. Chip Roy is basically saying the exact same thing last night. So this is the speech that Chip Roy made last night, blasting Republicans, and rightfully so, that when they have the power, they get us more and more in debt, if you're going to compare it to Democrats. And have a listen to what Chip Roy had to say.
By Republicans, increasing the debt $5 trillion. And what are you doing in the same bill? $110 billion unpaid for. Because you never have any ounce of self-respect to go out and campaign saying you're going to balance the budget, and then you come in here and pass $110 billion unpaid for. On top of the $200 billion you did for WEP, you guys won't agree with that. But the fact of the matter is $330 billion. Congratulations, you've added to the debt since you were given the majority again on November 5th. It's embarrassing. It's shameful.
Say what you want about Chip Roy. He is 150% accurate with what he said last night. Republicans don't like the truth. particularly MAGA Republicans. Now, of course, Donald Trump and Elon Musk and many of the MAGA Republicans are now going after Chip Roy, just like they're going after and putting out all the names, almost like a hit list of the Republicans that voted against this bill yesterday. So Roy responded to a Truth Social post from Trump, who accused Roy of getting in the way of a deal. Trump wrote that Republican obstructionists have to be done away with, dismissed as being utterly unknowledgeable as to the ways of politics and as to making America great again. He said Chip Roy is just another ambitious guy with no talent. By the way, how's Bob Good doing? I hope some talented challengers are getting ready in the great state of Texas to go after Chip in the primary. He won't have a chance. But if you notice, Donald Trump didn't go after any of the specific things that Chip Roy said, because what Chip Roy said was accurate. It was truthful. Example, if any Republican in office today said, yeah, Donald Trump is a 34-count felon, factually accurate, but Donald Trump would go after them as well. So Chip Roy, again, a moment of clarity within the Republican Party, speaking truth to the MAGA Republicans. Many of them don't like truth. If you call them out for anything, they will respond in the way Donald Trump responded on Truth Social yesterday. This probably ended Chip Roy's political career. But he's right. Just like Nikki Haley was right on a presidential debate stage when she called out Republicans when they were talking about the debt ceiling. This is what these people are. This is who they are. And you know what's really unfortunate about this whole thing? There's a lot of things that are unfortunate about it. But I'll tell you what's most unfortunate is that here we are a few days outside of Christmas. The holidays coming up where, yeah, it's normal to go through normal stresses in life, of course, but most of us should be looking forward to spending time with family, spending time with friends during this holiday season. But there is a plethora of hardworking, good Americans. Doesn't matter whether you're a Republican or a Democrat. I don't care. There's a lot of hardworking Americans in this country right now that are very worried. They're very stressed out, and rightfully so. They don't know if they're getting a paycheck next week or this week or in 2 weeks. Paychecks that many of them rely on, some of whom live paycheck to paycheck. They are stressed out beyond belief. And whether this bill passes tonight or not, I don't know whether it will. I would argue it probably won't. I don't have any faith. But even if it does pass, think about the stress that you're putting on these people in society today in this country. You think Elon Musk cares about these people? The stress and the strain that he's putting on these people that need this paycheck to survive, to put food on the table for their families, to put gas in their cars? You think Elon Musk and Donald Trump care about these people? Of course they don't. Of course they don't. It is disgusting and it is despicable. And listen, Jean-Pierre blasting Republicans on Capitol Hill this morning in her press conference. Listen to what she had to say about the Republicans and, in a sense, interfering with a bipartisan agreement. Listen to this.
What Americans need to know is that you have Republicans in Congress, in the House, who got in the way, who stopped a bipartisan agreement. They got in the way. They created this mess. And I said this earlier when I said, and you all know this, or you report this, it is not easy to get to a bipartisan agreement here in this town. And there was one. Both sides sat down. They came to an agreement, which is a good thing for the American people. We thought we were moving in that direction. And Republicans decided to instead listen and give space to their billionaire friends and not put the American people first. That's what is happening. That's what we're seeing.
She is 150% correct. And if you don't believe me or Jean-Pierre or some of the other Democrats on Capitol Hill that are putting the blame on Republicans, here's the facts, ladies and gentlemen, that cannot be refuted in any way. 38 Republicans voted with Democrats last night. And somehow we're supposed to be led to believe it's the Democrats' fault. Right-wing Republicans joined with Democrats. What does that mean? Well, I'll tell you what it means. It means your bill was lousy. It sucked, is what it was. And why is it that the Democrats are excluded from negotiations? You had Democrats on Capitol Hill yesterday saying, hey, we want to help you. Include us in the negotiations. And they keep fighting amongst each other. Is it Democrats' fault that Republicans hate Republicans? They call themselves the party of personal responsibility. But yet, they never take personal responsibility. How could you call yourself that label and you don't take any responsibility at all? And they want to blame Democrats? Mike Johnson wants to blame Democrats? 38 Republicans voted against it last night. They won't allow Democrats to sit at the bargaining table with them to negotiate. So who's to blame here? It's pretty simple. We're not talking brain surgery here. Donald Trump, who has allowed Elon Musk to ransack the Republican Party and to influence them, certainly when it comes to this situation in this bill. And the MAGA Republicans out there like coddling to Donald Trump, coddling to Elon Musk or President Musk, whatever you would like to call him. We will take a few phone calls on this. We have a guest coming up in segment number 2. The number to call right now is 702-221-7283. Where am I wrong? Agree, disagree? 702-221-7283. Who do you blame for the fact that there are many Americans in this country, a ton of Americans in this country, that don't know if they're going to be receiving another paycheck? They don't know what's going to happen during the holiday season. Anxiety through the roof. They're worried. They're stressed. Who do you blame? I blame Elon Musk. I blame Donald Trump. I blame the MAGA Republicans, and particularly the Republicans who will not allow the Democrats to negotiate with them now and are playing with Americans' lives as they do with so many other issues in society, whether it be health care, whether it be gun control, you name it. Again, number to call, 702-221-7283 is the number to call if you want to be a part of the conversation. All right, who are we going to do first here? Let's see. Let's start off with Jason. Jason is first up on PTL. What's up, Jason?
Hey, if it's going on the internet, SAFO. You will find out. This is going to be Christmas season, and Trump and Musk want y'all to have the worst Christmas ever before he gets in office, just to let you know a little taste of how it's going to be. So, MAGA, this is what you voted for? You're going to put the whole country in the most depressing Christmas ever.
Yeah.
But more than anything, Brian, please, I ask you one thing, please. I want you to either go on their channel or debate either Clay, Buck, or Dana Loesch. That would be must-see TV to watch you destroy the talking heads of Sean Hannity or Dan Bongino.
They don't do it.
I would love you to go to them and crush them.
I appreciate that. I would love the opportunity to do so, but how often do they have anybody? Forget about me for a minute. How often do they have anybody on their programs that disagree with them? They're cowards. Dana Loesch, the evil racist witch, NRA idiot that she is. I've gotten into it with her husband before, the fluffer. I forgot his name, Mr. Loesch. They're cowards is what they are. They're Chris Loesch, I think his name is. I've gotten into it with him on social media. They're cowards. They won't have people on their shows that they disagree with. Dan Bongino, oh my God! And Dan Bongino did an entire segment about me, by the way. Won't invite me on, but he did an entire segment on me on the air like 6 months ago. I appreciate your kind words, Jason. They're cowards. I would take the opportunity in a heartbeat to have a debate with them on anything: healthcare, gun control, LGBT rights, transgenders, book banning, anything. They could even name the topic, taxes, and I will gladly have a debate with them. Donald Trump, Joe Biden, anything. On the spot. But they won't do it because they're cowards. They're cowards just like the MAGA Republicans out there that won't allow Democrats to sit at the negotiating table with them today when Americans' lives are on the line to put food on the table. 702-221-7283. Let's go to Shelley. Shelley is next up on PTL. What's up, Shelley?
Hey, Brian. Yes, we're waiting.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, it is the Republicans' fault. Plain, simple, full stop, mic drop, all of it. If they won't let the Democrats help, we just leave it. Leave it to the Republicans. And people are stressed out. It's a stressful time of the year anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're just making it worse.
And it's interesting because the people on the far right, where's Joe Biden? Where's Joe? Do these morons understand? Obviously, they don't. Do they understand that Joe Biden has no say in this? He can't change the Republicans' minds. What's he going to do? Try to convince the Republicans to go back to the original bill? Joe Biden can't do anything.
He can't do anything except sign a bill.
Right. I mean, what do you want Joe Biden to do? Go into the House chambers and make a speech? The Republicans won't even let him. They won't listen to him. Even
if I was him, I'd take a daggone frying pan and go to Capitol Hill and hit him over the head.
Well, I don't know if that's going to happen, but I appreciate the call, Shelley. Thank you so much. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Let's go to Dave. Dave is next up on PTL. Hey, Dave, what's going on?
Hey, Brian, how you doing today?
Good.
Hey, I got to disagree with you. It's not President Musk. You're probably like, oh, great, right? No, what it is, it's King Musk, Queen Trump, Prince Putin, and Princess Dance.
I think
is what it's supposed to be.
I think you might have a point there. I correct myself. I don't disagree.
But, the reason for a call, I got a good question, and I was trying to do some research on it. I'm hoping you can help me out.
Sure.
When our buddy, our orange new dictator coming back into play, when we had government shutdowns, I know he had the longest, but do you recall if he had the most?
That I'm not sure. That I'm not sure of. I don't want to give you the wrong answer there, but I'll say this in perspective to what you're talking about. This is very simple, and to me, this is very similar to the bipartisan border bill that they were trying to pass, if you recall, my friend. You had Republicans and Democrats that came together. You can say there was pork in the bill, but Republicans and Democrats sat at the table. They negotiated. They both didn't get what they wanted, but it would have helped the country moving forward, right? And Donald Trump picks up his little orange fingers, and he makes a phone call to Mike Johnson, the coward, and says, don't pass this bill unless it's perfect. And then they all got scared, and they bow down and kiss the ring, and because of that, America suffers. Make no mistake about it. This is exactly what is going on here. Only they're not just bowing to Trump. They're bowing to President Musk. That is what they are doing. And because of that, America is suffering. And these Republican cowards, I give some of them credit, and I named you a few of them that spoke yesterday. But the 38 Republicans that voted against this bill, how embarrassing. And they're blaming Democrats. MAGA Republicans voted against this bill. You're blaming Democrats? Oh, and then we're going to threaten you by primarying you. They're like 5 years old. Elon Musk is what, 60 going on 5. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Let's go to Mark. Mark is next on PTL. What's up, Mark?
What's up? Great question. First, I have a few points, but my first point is, who the heck do I call the first lady come January 20th?
Elon Musk.
Who's the first lady?
Mrs. Musk.
I have no idea.
Mrs. Musk.
Okay. Now, I despise Washington, D.C., as most people do. But I have to hand it to the senators and congressmen. In the past, when there was a handshake and a deal made behind closed doors, it was carried out.
Right.
That's one thing I got to give them. It was always carried out, whether it hurt their own party or it didn't.
Yep.
This ended when Trump took office. Handshakes and behind closed doors deals do not work with this madman.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I was a Democrat in Congress or the Senate, I don't care what plan they came up with. I would go against it because no matter what comes out of Musk's mouth, whatever that moron suggests, I will do the opposite because he has no business being there. First of all, Trump is not even president yet. And Musk has no dealings, shouldn't have any dealings with anybody. And there's no such thing as Dodge.
Right.
That is a made-up branch of the government.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling that a lot of these Republicans are voting no just because Musk is telling them to, because Trump and Musk came up with this new plan, they're voting no just because of Musk.
Yeah.
They don't like to be bossed around. They don't like to be told what to do.
And you know what's other thing that's interesting, Mark, is that there's a woman, and I'm forgetting her name, forgive me, a Democrat congresswoman, and again, I think she's from Connecticut, and I'm forgetting her name. She has purple hair, right? Who cares? And what does Elon Musk decide to do? He decides to attack her on looks and goes on social media. He probably does the same thing behind closed doors with his transgender daughter. This is who Elon Musk is. He's a bad guy. He's not a lawmaker. All he cares about is his own pockets. All Elon Musk cares about, make no mistake about it, is deepening his own pockets, making his investors happy, making more money, and his insecurities about being the center of attention. That's who Elon Musk is. I don't care how much money he is a bad guy. 702-221-7283 is the number to call if you want to be a part of the conversation. Let's go to Tony. Tony is next up on PTL. What's up, Tony?
Hey, it's the first time calling in.
Thank
I've
you.
been watching you for a while, dude.
Thank you.
You are great.
Thank you, Tony.
So anything anti-Trump, let's talk about it. Anything anti-Trump. First of all, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Elon Musk, they're considering him for speaker?
Well, I don't think...
Can he be speaker?
He can. Ron Johnson is the moron who started that. First of all, I don't think Elon Musk wants to be the speaker. I certainly don't speak for him, but I don't think that would happen. What a clown show. I guess I shouldn't put anything past these MAGA Republicans. I would say right now maybe a 10% chance of that happening. I actually think Mike Johnson's going to stick around. I think he's going to stay in that seat. People call me crazy. I don't think he's getting outed.
I highly doubt it. But now Elon is born in another country. Is that true?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Now, isn't the Speaker of the House the third in line for the presidency?
Technically, yes. But
okay.
I don't think
now,
the laws apply.
How can that be possible?
I don't. The same standards don't apply to the House Speaker as they do the president. Unfortunately, my understanding.
Now, who's third in line as the president? Who does it go to? Who is the succeeding person?
Well, you're right.
President can't take it.
Well, you're right. It's the president, it's the vice president, and then trickles down to the House Speaker. So I'm not saying you're wrong. All I'm saying is, yeah.
Now, president can't be. It has to be a president. You can't be president unless you're born naturally here.
Correct.
So how can he be speaker?
Well, that's a question we'll have to look into. I don't know the answer to that. What I will tell you is I doubt that we're going to get to that point where that's going to happen, but I think you raise a very fair question. Let's go to Linda. Linda is next up on PTL. What's up, Linda?
Yes, hello. So glad to be a part of this conversation.
Oh, thank you.
One thing I want to bring out first, Donald Trump went into the Republican Party to divide it.
Yeah.
He went into it by creating what he calls a rhino. He divided it, and that's where they are right now, divided because of him. Now, this Elon Musk person, there's a message there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When you go to the grocery store and buy a loaf of bread and you get back home, you know what you bought, don't you?
Of course. Yep.
He know what he bought.
Yep. He does. You're right. I agree with that sentiment, my dear. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people in this country that don't know what they voted for. There's a lot of people in this country that are very ill-informed. There's a lot of people in this country that might be uneducated. There's a lot of people in this country that watch Newsmax all day. And there's a lot of people in this country that still think January 6th was nothing more or less than a tourist visit. and they're wrong. We're going to take more phone calls on this, and we are going to be asking you the question. I will be, do you think this bill gets passed tonight? Do you think the Republicans are able to get it done? But before we do so, something that I have talked about a lot on this program, the threat to our democracy, and January 6th. I know people that were there that day that I have interviewed, and I've actually interviewed people, Pam Hemphill is one of them, who went to jail for several months. But I had the opportunity to watch this great documentary film called Fight Like Hell, and I actually watched it yesterday, The Untold Story. And it gives you the details in depth in the days and weeks before January 6th, and of course what took place on that fateful day. And we know that Donald Trump has already said that he wants to pardon all those that were prosecuted on January 6th. It's crazy. So we're happy to have the director of that film, Fight Like Hell, John Long, joining us right now. John, thank you so much for being here. How are you?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, appreciate it. What made you decide to make this film? What was your reasoning behind wanting to dive really deep into this, and what caused January 6th to happen? What made you decide to do this?
Well, I sent crews down to DC to film during the week of January 6th, not intending to make a film, but just to capture a cultural moment like a lot of journalists would do. The people that I had hired are professional cameramen, and we got amazing footage, and we did not expect what happened to happen. So we then again went back during the inauguration and filmed for another week. And then about a year after that, we started looking at it and going, well, what are you going to do with this footage? And we wanted to tell a story about what happened, how that day came about. And we thought that the best way to do that would be to create an observational type of film, rather than go and interview a bunch of experts and pundits and people telling you their opinions about what happened, because we have this raw, visceral footage that I don't think anyone else got this type of footage that we got. Mm-hmm. So we started piecing it together. I was working with another journalist, Ford Fisher, who had been covering the Stop the Steal movement right from the beginning. So from the first Stop the Steal event on November 5th. And then he was covering these events all across the nation. And we wanted to show what happened on the ground. So what people were hearing and seeing, going to these rallies, the events, and showing it, piecing it all together from the perspective of someone who's on the ground, as opposed to someone who's behind the scenes listening to lawyers talking or whatever. Right. And we just wanted to show what happened in a contextual way and observational way, not from coming from one side or another. And not to say it's not like a both sides thing. It's just like we wanted to show what happened from a purely journalistic way.
Right.
Just show the truth of what happened.
Right. And you're right, John. There's a lot of footage in here that I don't think anyone's ever seen before. And it was mesmerizing. What I noticed, a lot of things I noticed from this great film, but was how angry people were, the anger that the way they were talking and how upset they were, and in following the leader and believing untruths. Were you surprised in this footage of just how angry and ill-informed so many people seem to be?
Well, definitely they're angry. I mean, they are pretty much all there because they believed the election was stolen. They believed that they were there to try to protect democracy. And there was a lot of different types of people there. It's not just like I think you make a mistake when you try to group them all into one category and say they're all insurrectionists. A lot of those people were there to just peacefully protest. So I think that's important to say. There's also people who were smashing police officers over the head with flagpoles. So two things can be true at the same time, but they were very angry. They thought the election was stolen because for the 3 months since election day, since November 5th up until January 6th, 2 months, they were told the election was stolen.
So you're right. Hundreds of thousands of people were there that day, and there were maybe a few thousand people that committed crimes. So you're 150% correct on that, but that doesn't change the fact, as you pointed out, that almost all of those people actually thought that the election was stolen, which is mesmerizing. I'm wondering what goes through your head, John. You did such a great job with this film. What goes through your head when you hear somebody like Donald Trump say that he wants to pardon all these people. He's put a blatant statement. He hasn't said, well, we're not going to pardon the people that attacked police officers physically. He's made a blatant statement that he wants to pardon everybody. What goes through your mind when you hear him say that?
I think the idea of pardoning everyone, to me, does not make sense. I mean, I can't speak to every single person that's been charged. There's been somewhere between 1,200 and 1,500 people have been charged. Some people could have got caught up in the moment and done something that they would have otherwise never considered doing. Others could have gone there to commit violence. So putting them all in one basket is like putting all the people that were in DC into one basket, which is a mistake. So I think it really does make sense to look at the individual cases and go, I mean, how are you going to, personally, I don't know how you can excuse someone for beating on a police officer.
Right.
Maybe you can excuse someone who found themselves walking down the hallway of the Capitol and walked back out again. I don't know. It's like, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not the Department of Justice, but everybody acted, in different ways there. So I think you really need to take a close look at what those people were doing. And like they said on January 7th, like go back to January 7th and listen to what all the Republicans were saying. Well, what everybody was saying is we can't stand for this. We can't stand for people beating on police officers.
If you're just joining us, he is the director of Fight Like Hell, The Untold Truth. John Long joining us on the show. I highly recommend it. I watched it yesterday. I thought it was really well done. It's interesting, John, because when I speak to a typical MAGA Republican and I ask them, I've asked Larry Elder this question and many others, I say, if Donald Trump didn't say months before January 6th that the election was stolen and that it was rigged and Joe Biden cheated and the Democrats cheated, does January 6th happen? And they won't answer that question. I'll ask you the question because I think you will. If he's not lying, that stuff doesn't happen, does it?
Well, he said before, like you said, before the election happened, he said, the only way we can lose this election is if the election is rigged, which is also what was said in the election that just happened.
Right.
And there was a big lot of momentum and planning going for the Stop the Steal movement had the election gone the other way this time as well. So, that was put out there. So people believed that. And then when he lost the election, he claimed that he won. And then for the next couple of months, there was a huge planning and momentum around informing people of that narrative that the election was stolen. I mean, as you know, there was over 60 court cases. And so this was what people were talking about all the time. So, the hardcore supporters that are listening to, certain media, that's what they're going to believe. And they believe that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're right. What do you think, if anything, the left-wing media and the right-wing media, we'll just say the media in general, got wrong about January 6th that you were able to capture and get right in this film?
Well, for one thing, most stories that are told are told from one side or another. So you can, like if someone's saying that, even someone who says that everybody there was an insurrectionist, well, you're not going to have any Trump supporters watch that film because most of the people there were peaceful. So don't do that. Like, I think what they missed is showing what happened, which is something that we just tried to do, is show things in context. For example, the Ashley Babbitt shooting. Just a week or two ago, Donald Trump said that police officer should be charged with murder. Other people have different opinions. And I think, to understand what happened, like you could go through a whole court case to establish that. But if you look at that footage, like we have a shot that's over 2 minutes long. So these people are walking towards the speaker's chamber, and there's some doors there that are closed with windows. You see the Trump supporters walk towards those doors. There's a few police officers guarding those doors and a few people on the other side. And then you watch this thing unfold over 2 or 3 minutes. That is almost more powerful than a whole court case, because you see the nuance of everybody in that scene, what they're doing, what's happening, the windows getting smashed, the police officer holding his gun, pointing at the window before it smashed, someone screaming, "There's a gun, there's a gun." And then the window breaks, Ashley walks through, and the police officer shoots. So you could have 10 people look at that, and maybe 5 people will say, I thought this is what I saw, and the other 5 will say, this is what I saw. But I think that context, it allows you to establish your own opinion about what you saw. Like, did that police officer do the right thing? You tell me. It's not, as the filmmaker, I'm not going to tell you. It's not my job.
Sure, understood. As an opinionated talk show host, based on that exact video that you are talking about, they're screaming out, "Hang Mike Pence." They're breaking windows. They are literally 15 to 20 feet away from politicians. As you accurately pointed out in the video, guy holds up his gun. You hear people say he's got a gun, and that doesn't deter Ashley Babbitt. To any human being that doesn't want to be shot, when you're hearing that somebody in law enforcement is pointing a gun at you, you probably should stop what you're doing. It didn't stop Ashley Babbitt. She was shot. And I believe ultimately it's a sad story. She's a woman that served her country. But like so many others that were the insurrectionists that day, she was brainwashed and she believed every word that Donald Trump says. And there's still people, as you know, John, out there today that still believe every word that he says. And because of that, and she did some very stupid things that day. And in that moment, probably the dumbest of them all, when a law enforcement official is pointing a gun at you, you probably shouldn't be trying to get through a window and getting at politicians. It cost her life. That's my opinion, John. And you're right that the video is the evidence for it. And no, I don't believe that officer did anything wrong.
And the same thing is like you need to have empathy for the officer. You need to have empathy for Ashley Babbitt.
Sure.
The police officers that were holding back, even the people who were screaming, "Kill Mike Pence," or "We're going in there to kill Nancy Pelosi." Like, they're there saying those things for a reason too. Like, instead of just, I think it's what this film does is it allows some pathways for empathy to understand, why are these people there? Why are they so angry? And ask those questions. It's not there to tell you what to think, but it might get you asking the right questions.
That's what I love. That's my favorite part about this film, is what you just talked about, is that you show a lot of footage that I've never seen before, asking questions, people that are speaking that were there that day, but it's not something biased where it's to one side of the aisle or not. You're just showing video, you're showing footage. I'm wondering though, what do you think about somebody like a Tucker Carlson who nitpicks and shows only footage of officers letting people in certain areas, people calling it a tourist visit, and cherry picking, I guess is the word that I was looking for. What do you make of somebody like a Tucker Carlson that I believe does the opposite of what you guys have done in this film?
Well, that's the problem. That's the problem with media. It's cherry, like you say, it's cherry picking. It's not showing what happened in context. Like if you want to do a story about January 6th and you decide that you're going to show someone walking peacefully down the hallway inside the Capitol, which there was lots of people walking down hallways, even some with police officers, and then you have a show for half an hour and you talk about that shot, what you are is disrespecting your audience. And you're disrespecting, well, you're not even a journalist at that point, because a journalist is supposed to just tell you the facts. It's not about their opinion or trying to manipulate you.
Yeah, I think that's very well said. And that's exactly what a lot of these people in the media do. All they do is manipulate. So I agree with you 150%. Well, John, you guys did a great job with this film, Fight Like Hell. It's really fantastic. Can you give out the information for people that want to see it, that haven't been able to yet? Where do they go? What do they do? How do they find it?
Yeah, so we put it up on YouTube for free. We didn't get it finished till just before the election. It's a slog making a independent film and trying to get something done. So thankfully we got it done before the election, and we put it on YouTube. So you can go to fightlikehellmovie.com or fightlikehellmovie.org, and that'll give you a link to watch the film.
Great job, John. I really appreciate you taking the time to join us, and I'm thankful for what you guys did. It really is fantastic, and I recommend anybody please check it out. It's really good. I watched it yesterday. John Long, appreciate the time, my friend. Congratulations on the film, and hopefully we can talk to you again soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for watching it. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thank you, John. All right, there you go. That's John Long, the director of Fight Like Hell, The Untold Story. And like I said, I watched it yesterday. I think it's A+. I think it's great. It's not biased. It just shows all the footage that they gathered. A lot of footage that I've never seen before. That's what I really enjoyed about it the most. A lot of stuff that I never saw. And you're hearing from people that were there. You're hearing the sounds. You're hearing the noises. You're hearing people and their anger and how they were just so brainwashed into committing some terrible crimes that day. It's really good. So I really recommend it. John's a great director, and I'm really appreciative he came on. All right, so here's what we're going to do. I have a lot more people that want to call in. What are we covering? Obviously, we talked a little bit here about January 6th. I wanted to get him on to talk about that because January 6th, the anniversary, is right around the corner. So we have January 6th right around the corner, and Donald Trump, the president-elect, and he's saying he's going to pardon everybody. So we're talking about that, but obviously the breaking news and the big news and the news that we've been talking about is a possible government shutdown, right? 38 Republicans voted against this bill last night, yet Mike Johnson, Elon Musk, and Donald Trump, for the most part, are blaming Democrats. It is incredible. It's just like Donald Trump blaming E. Jean Carroll all over again, right? Only the assault that the Republicans are committing are on the American people, for lack of a better term. So we're taking your phone calls on that, 702-221-7283. Hey, this is an independently owned radio show. What does that mean? Well, I'll tell you exactly what it means. It means that we rely on people like you to support what we do here. So first thing to do, subscribe to my YouTube page. It's free. It's simple. Be interactive on there at PTL Radio Show on YouTube. Besides going on YouTube and subscribing, check out my website, pushingthelimits.live. Again, that website is pushingthelimits.live, where you can buy merchandise on there. You can donate, whatever you can do. We greatly appreciate your support. All right. So I ask you this question when we come back, and I'm opening up the phone lines again. Do you think this bill gets passed tonight? Do you think Republicans find a way to not shut down the government? Or do you agree with me that it's probably not going to pass today? And it's another example of Republicans do not know how to govern. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. We will take your phone calls right back here in 2 minutes. You're listening to Pushing the Limits right here on KSHP.
Hey, everybody. Are you struggling to find a pizza place that reminds you of Brooklyn? That true blue New York style pie? Well, worry no more. Stallone's Italian Eatery Pizza is a knockout. We're located at 467 East Silverado Ranch Boulevard, just off of Premium Road, half a mile east of South Point Casino, just minutes from the Las Vegas Strip. Come by and grab a slice of pie. Plus, check out our Brooklyn-inspired Italian cuisine. Our sandwiches are super. Hero, that is. Because why be a sub when you can be a hero? Stallone's Italian Eatery is here to serve you phenomenal food, Vegas. Forget about it.
Who would have thought there'd be so many kids playing ice hockey in the desert? Jake Helps Hockey Foundation and the Las Vegas Ice Warriors, founded by Gina Yousafzai 8 years ago, made it possible for families who can't afford the equipment and fees. Donate today at www.hockeyforkids.org and help us continue making a difference. Join us in supporting Jake Helps Hockey Foundation and the Las Vegas Ice Warriors, where every kid gets a shot at the starting line. Just a reminder, our website is www.hockeyforkids.org.
Have you ever dreamed of having your own radio show or a podcast, but just didn't think it was possible? Well, dreams can come true. Radio U. Radio U is a 5-day course that'll teach you how to acquire your dream show. We'll teach you how to host, how to write commercial, how to interview, how to market, how to write a contract, and most importantly, how to monetize your dream radio show. You'll learn from some of the best in the business with over 75 years in broadcast experience. You'll learn from people like me. And the best part? Every single student will be live on the radio as part of the class. Plus, one student from each class will get their very own radio show. You'll be live on the air right here in Las Vegas. Radio U. The 5-day course is being offered at $699. For more information, give Radio U a call, 702-763-4700. 5024. That's 702-763-5024. Or check them out at RadioYou101.com.
It's time to wake up and win the weekend. You're listening to the boss of the big ball. JP the Cat, giving you that grease. Join me every Saturday and Sunday from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Pacific time for the live action on Vegas Scoreboard Express on KSHP 107.1 FM and AM 1400. Dive into the game day with my in-depth analysis, expert predictions, and winning plays from the sharpest minds in sports betting. It's more than just placing bets. It's about securing wins. Head over to jptheticket.com and be sure to tune in to KSHP this weekend from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Pacific time to ride the winning wave with VSX. Tune in and get your money back from the sports book. All money, all sports, no bull. Miss the live show? Subscribe to Vegas Scoreboard Express on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn, and wherever you enjoy your favorite podcasts and radio listening.
All right, welcome back. It is Pushing the Limits on a Friday. Thank you so much for joining us. My thanks to director John Long, great director. Fight Like Hell, The Untold Story. It's a great documentary about January 6th, completely unbiased. No commentary that's biased, just showing what happened that day. Check it out. Also, please check out the official gaming bar of the Pushing the Limits radio show, Jackson's Bar and Grill, located at Flamingo and Jones, where they have, of course, have the Pass the Puck contest during Vegas Golden Knights games where you could win up to $500 in free slot play. Mondays and Wednesdays this month. Boy, the month is almost over. We're getting there already. It's incredible. But you can win a free bottle of wine if you earn 300 points on any slot machine. Check them out. Jackson's Bar and Grill. Great food, great atmosphere, located at Flamingo and Jones, and tell them that I sent you. So obviously we're talking about a possible government shutdown, and we just had a listener who just called in who made a very good point. Jay just called in, and he said, well, wait a second. If there's a government shutdown, we're not going to have a January 6th. Well, yeah, he's right. Who's going to certify the election? So he's right. There's a lot of things that aren't going to happen with a government shutdown until we get the government going again. Think about that. DMBs will be shut down. Any government building will be shut down. I believe libraries are shut down as well, if I'm not mistaken. A lot of different facilities are shut down. That would be a big inconvenience for not only customers, but people that are supposed to be getting a paycheck. So Jay is 100% correct when he says that. What are your thoughts on that? The question I am asking is this. Do you think Republicans will find a way to get this bill passed today, with 38 Republicans yesterday voting against it? What do you think? Who do you blame here? Am I wrong? Where's my MAGA crowd? Am I wrong to blame Republicans? Well, guess what? This is what Chip Roy had to say about some of his Republican colleagues yesterday talking about this. Here's what he had to say about this.
Right here, by Republicans, increasing the debt $5 trillion. And what are you doing in the same bill? $110 billion unpaid for. Because you never have any ounce of self-respect to go out and campaign saying you're going to balance the budget, and then you come in here and pass $110 billion unpaid for. On top of the $200 billion you did for WEP, you guys won't agree with that, but the fact of the matter is $330 billion. Congratulations, you've added to the debt since you were given the majority again on November 5th. It's embarrassing. It's shameful.
He's right. But Republicans out there, MAGA Republicans, will call Chip Roy a rhino. Soon enough, they'll start calling him a pedophile. They'll start calling him a liberal. They're already doing it on social media when everything Chip Roy just said is completely factually accurate. It's not even an opinion what he said. It's factually accurate. But he's a rhino. Let's get him out of office. Because if you don't bow down to Donald Trump and you don't agree with everything he and President Musk says, we're going to primary you. All right, get back to the phone calls. Where am I wrong? Where am I right? What do you guys say? 702-221-7283. Let's go to Christine. Christine is next up on PTL. Hey, Christine.
Hey, Brian. How are you today?
Good. What's on your mind today?
So totally agree with you. I've been trying to call for like a few weeks, so I'm really glad I got through. I have two things I want to say.
Sure.
I don't think it's going to get passed. I think that this is just a game that they play. But what I want to say is that I feel that Elon needs to lose all government contracts. Now, he has the right to vote for whoever he wants to. That's not what I'm saying. But he can't have both. He can't have this much say in the government and the spending of the government and have a government contract.
But Christine,
there's a contradiction there.
Christine, let me respond to what you just said there. It's a good, I agree with you, but think about this. Why is Elon Musk so involved? Why did he put in so much money and work?
100%.
The reason why Elon Musk put in all this money in support of Donald Trump was because of his own pockets, so he could be involved in government. It involves him billions and billions of dollars. So I agree with you, but it's not going to happen because this is the whole reason why Elon Musk got involved to begin with.
Okay, and then my last thing is that so they're okay with the government shutting down, and Elon said, everybody, you'll be fine for 33 days without no pay. But they all had to sit over spending a little bit more money on eggs, milk, gas. That was an issue.
Right.
But people just not getting a paycheck for 33 days, it's not. So you see the hypocrisy there? It drives me insane.
You bring up such a good point. All they do is they talk about how their eggs are expensive, and gas, by the way, gas prices have been continuing to go down, and inflation under 3%. But you're right. They complain about their eggs. They complain about groceries. But then when the people that they voted for can't govern and can't agree on a bill, and the infighting among the Republicans and government officials, forget about paying for eggs. They're not even going to be getting a paycheck. These people are silent, or if they're not silent, they want to blame the Democrats for this. It's ridiculous.
It's a lot easier to pay an extra $1 for eggs than have no paycheck at all. So that's all I wanted to say.
You're speaking.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Christine. You're speaking logic on this show. What's going on here? Thank you, Christine. 702-221-7283 is the number to call if you do want to be a part of the conversation. Do you think this bill is going to be passed tonight? Do you blame Democrats for this? Really? Blame Democrats for this? 702-221-7283. By the way, 38 Republicans voted against this. I'm going to keep saying that. 38, President Musk. Can we impeach President Musk, please? Can we please here's my dream. Are you ready, ladies and gentlemen? Before we get back to the calls. Here's my dream. Here's my MAGA dream. We put Elon Musk and ship him out to Mars. Give him all the donuts he wants. Ship him out to Mars. But when we do ship him out to Mars, we put him on Mars with Donald Trump. Put him in there together, and they can live happily ever after. I also think, in my personal opinion, we can recall all Teslas. That's my dream, ladies and gentlemen. 702-221-7283. I hate Teslas, by the way. Let's go to Matt. Matt is next on PTL. What's up, Matt?
Hey, Brian. Yeah, I'm calling Elon Musk now the President Rocket Man.
I like that.
He's burning out of fuses every more. It's going to be a long, long time till touchdown brings him around, but I guess he'll find he's not the man he thinks he is at home. I'm not. Oh, no. He's the Rocket Man.
You know, when you think about it, I get really angry when people listen. Elon Musk is obviously he's an innovative guy. He knows how to make a lot of money. But just because people know how to make money doesn't mean that they're honest, responsible, decent people. And I would say, and there are some that are, but Elon Musk is not. I remember when he had a bunch of employees that wanted to go on strike, he just fired all of them. This is a guy that brags about firing people.
Right.
Elon Musk only cares about two things. And by the way, it's not his family. Just ask his trans daughter what she thinks about him. He only cares about two things in life. He cares about his pockets and making money, and he also cares about his ego and attention. That's all this man cares about in life. And when it says on his headstone, it won't say great father, it won't say great husband, it won't say great businessman. No. He has, died with a lot of money. But guess what? When you die broke, because it doesn't matter how much money you have when you're dead, you're dead. But this is who Elon Musk is. He's a bad guy, and he's a coward. And my friend Don Lemon, I thought, did a wonderful interview and challenged him. He's also a man that refuses to be challenged. Don Lemon, in a respectful interview, challenged him respectfully. I wouldn't have been as nice as Don Lemon was, because Don Lemon's a nice guy. And Elon Musk, did you see the last 10 minutes of that interview? How angry and flustered Elon Musk, because he's so used to everybody around him, yes men and yes women around him. Elon Musk and Donald Trump have a lot in common with each other. They're insecure, they crave attention, and they certainly don't want to be challenged by anybody that challenges them. I've never heard Elon Musk speak negatively about an evil, murderous dictator. I've never heard Elon Musk ever talk about the gay community or the LGBT community or the trans community in a positive light. I've never heard Elon Musk caring and acting and helping people that are struggling in this country. That is who Elon Musk is. And sadly, Elon Musk is number 2 in command. If we're going to be serious here, and I'm being serious now, I believe Elon Musk has more power and more authority within the Republican Party than J.D. Vance. He has more authority than certainly a Mike Johnson. It's Donald Trump. It's Donald Trump and then Elon Musk right behind him. This is where the Republican Party is at now. And yeah, I joke around and I call him President Musk, but in some cases I'm being serious. He has more power right now in the Republican Party than anybody else other than maybe Donald Trump. That's it. That's how I feel, my friend.
He's an oligarchic hero.
He really is. Don't buy a Tesla. Thank you for the call, my friend. I appreciate the call.
Thank you.
All right. Appreciate you, my friend. Thank you. Number to call if you want to be a part of the show, 702-221-7283. And again, that number, if you want to be a part of the program, the number to call is 702-221-7283. Do you think this bill will pass tonight? Do you think Republicans will find a way without getting any help from the Democrats? Because we heard that yesterday. They don't want Democrats at the negotiating table. The infighting among Republicans and Democrats have been saying, we are willing to help you. Put us at the negotiating table. They refuse to even do that. Do you have any faith that this will happen today? Or do you think that we will be in the midst of another government shutdown starting later tonight? 702-221-7283. That is the question that I ask you. We go to Nancy. Nancy is next up on PTL. Hey, Nancy, what's going on?
Hey, Brian. I have 2 points today. A, I don't think it's going to pass.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't. I think they're following through with their plan. They think people are going to blame the Biden administration for it.
Yeah.
And they can't. They're sitting on the Biden administration.
Mm-hmm.
Second, Children's Hospital of Colorado and TRICARE, which anyone who's a veteran or serves in the military knows that is their health care. They're in a pissing contest right now.
Mm-hmm.
And as of January 1st, I have grandchildren that depend on day-to-day care through Children's Hospital in Colorado.
Yeah.
As of January 1st, they have told my family that they cannot guarantee that they will be able to continue providing care for my grandchildren, and they want my son and his wife to write a testimonial so they can use that as a bargaining chip with TRICARE to get them to pay more money.
Yeah.
But these people who are going to shut our government down,
Yeah.
they get free health care and their pay continues while everybody else suffers.
Well, that's what this
they
is.
shouldn't be allowed to go home till they get it done.
I agree with you. And by the way, I think last stats I checked, Congress has about a 13% approval rating. Listen, there's a lot of things in this bill the original bill, that I disagree with. I didn't read the Elon Musk, President Musk bill, and I didn't read the entire 1,500-page bill either, I'll be honest with you. But I did read some articles about it and highlights about it. Listen, do I think that members of Congress should be getting a $70,000 raise? Of course I don't. But I'll say it like this, and you can tell me whether you agree or not. I would rather them have a $70,000 pay increase and pass a bill so that everyday Americans are still being able to earn their paychecks that work for the government than do what's going on right now and cause so many Americans so much anxiety and stress. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, the anxiety my family's going through right now
Yeah, I'm sorry.
is uncalled for. I mean, it is totally uncalled for. And I'm just afraid it's all going to get 10 times. Well, I know it's going to get worse.
It will.
We all know it's going to get worse.
You're right. And keep in mind, my dear, that Donald Trump isn't even in office yet. Donald Trump isn't even in office yet. And look at the chaos. Look at what is going on here. And make no mistake about it. And I'm going to name some names that I'm not very fond of, but I guarantee you if they were the incoming president, this would not be happening. If it was a Nikki Haley, for example, even like a Mike Pence or a Chris Christie or a Marco Rubio, any of these names, who I'm not very fond of, most of these people. But if any of those people were incoming, Elon Musk would not be involved, and this bill would have passed, and everything would have been fine. Donald Trump likes chaos. The people around him like chaos. And we should not have the Vivek Ramaswamis of the world, who I think is just an awful guy, just a snake. And the Elon Musks of the world, we should not have billionaires putting in policy with a bunch of conflict of interest. It is inappropriate. It's wrong. But yet MAGA Republicans, so many of them don't have any problems with it, although we did have 38 Republicans yesterday that apparently did. But that's Democrats' fault, right? It's the fault from the left. 702-221-SAVE is the number to call. 702-221-7283. Let's go to Colin. Colin is next up on PTL. Hello, Colin.
Oh, hey, Brian. I've been reading a lot of dystopian books as of late because of, like what's going to happen with Trump and everything. I mean, not all, but some.
Repeat that. I'm sorry. Come again. Repeat that one more time. I'm sorry, Colin. I didn't hear what you said. Go ahead.
So I've been listening to a lot of dystopian books, like the George Orwell book, and then Fahrenheit 451, as I mentioned before.
Okay.
So, and some of that stuff is kind of scary.
Right. Yeah.
Because it shows you that the power of, someone who wants mostly power just wants to corrupt it.
Well, that's true. I think in this case, when we think of the Vivek Ramaswamis and the Elon Musks of the world, and I repeat what I said earlier, it's about a couple different things for these guys. First of all, I think it's certainly ego, and they love to be the center of attention. I think that's certainly a big part of it. I'm not sure that's the most important part to them. It's a part, but not a most important part to them is money. And if they are a billionaire, they want to be a multi-billionaire. If you're a multi-billionaire, you want to be a trillionaire. It's about ego and it's about money. Elon Musk, Vivek Ramaswamy, Donald Trump, these are three snakes that don't care about you and me. They don't care about everyday normal people living paycheck to paycheck. They don't care about people in this country that are struggling. They don't care. They want to see themselves on TV. They want to hear themselves being talked about. They want to be the center of attention. They want to be jumping up and down with their dad bod on a political stage with Donald Trump. And they want conflict of interest. They want to know that the decision-making or whatever type of messages that they're sending to Donald Trump will help them financially. Make no mistake about it. Ever since Donald Trump was elected, Elon Musk has made hundreds of billions of dollars profiting off of Donald Trump's win. And I guarantee you, if he sticks around, which I'm sure he will, those hundreds of billions of dollars will turn into trillions of dollars. Elon Musk, when it's all said and done in 4 years, I believe will make trillions of dollars in net wealth off of Donald Trump and being a part of his administration. Even though technically he's not, or he's an advisor, they can say that if they want to. He is the second one in command, and that is the bottom line, and he is one of the main reasons why Donald Trump won. Make no mistake about it. I truly believe that, Colin. I don't know if you do, but I do.
I agree.
Yeah. Well, I don't know where we go from here, my friend. other than hold their feet to the fire. And you know what's going to happen tonight. And thank you, by the way, for the call, Colin. I appreciate you. 702-221-7283 is the number to call if you want to be a part of the show. 702-221-SAVE. Here's what I think is going to happen. I don't think this bill is going to pass. They are going to continue to fight amongst each other, but they are going to blame Democrats like they have been thus far. Mike Johnson has the gall, the accountability partner. Mike Johnson has the gall to blame Democrats. Even Republicans, most would probably disagree, and they would hold Mike Johnson accountable. All right. We'll get back to the phone calls now. And again, the question I'm asking is, do you think they're going to pass this tonight or not? Do you have any faith in these Republicans? 702-221-7283 is the number to call. All right, why don't we go to Dennis now? Dennis is next up on PTL. Hey, Dennis, what's on your mind, man?
Hey, Brian. No, I do not think they'll pass it tonight, to be honest.
Yeah.
And you're talking about Trump being in charge. Trump's not that smart. I think President Musk is in charge, and McFarlane is just his puppet, because Trump can't read past 3 paragraphs.
You're right. He's got the worst ADD of anybody, so I don't necessarily disagree with you on that one. I agree.
Yeah, and the other thing, they had to move Tina Peters because of the fact that her life was in danger in county jail.
Yeah, I don't know how much I believe that. Do you?
No.
Tina Peters is, for those of you that don't know, Tina Peters she actually appeared on this show a couple times. Tina Peters is the one that's in jail for lying about the election and messing with the election machines and out there in Arizona. She's an absolute dingbat, nutty
Colorado.
person. Or I'm sorry, Colorado. Just an absolute dingbat nutbag. I get confused with, all the crazies that are in Arizona too, like the Kerry Lakes of the world. But
we got 2 for 1.
Yeah.
We got Boebert and Peters.
Ugh, Boebert is the worst. Although if she invited me to a Beetlejuice play, I might just go to check it out because I really like Beetlejuice. But anyway, thanks for the call, my friend. I appreciate you.
Brian, have a great weekend.
All right, you too, my friend. Beetlejuice. If you say that to Lauren Boebert, you might get a sexual favor. You think that's probably how it works with her? Beetlejuice, and then she'll start fondling you. Lauren Boebert, ladies and gentlemen, the elected official in Colorado. If only it was that easy. 702-221-7283. Let's go to, is it Fran? Fran is next up on PTL. Hey, Fran, what's going on, man?
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, doing good, Fran. What's on your mind?
Good. No, I don't think the Republicans can come together and get a bill passed or signed. They are too inept, and they've never been that great with governing, for one thing. The other thing, somebody called you earlier and asked about a shutdown. Ronald Reagan did a big shutdown, and it was so that even, I think, a lot of the aircraft controllers lost their jobs. So, yeah, he did a big one. The other thing I want to remind our listeners about, this is like the 3rd time in history where America has allowed the ultra-rich to become in control, and it was not good for the ordinary person.
There you go. I know Bernie Sanders is too far to the left for some people, but we need more people with less money running government. We need people with less money that are working for hardworking Americans. I can guarantee you the billionaires of Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy and Donald Trump could care less about these government employees that are living paycheck to paycheck. And I get so angry with these morons who voted for Donald Trump, who think that Donald Trump wants to make America great again. Go ahead and go to Mar-a-Lago and look at the white elitists that are hanging out at Mar-a-Lago. Those are the kind of people that Donald Trump is hanging out with. He's not hanging out with everyday normal people. I mean, listen, he'll invite Kyle Rittenhouse to the White House, he'll invite Daniel Penny to a football game, right? Because it looks good for him and his base. He's not hanging out with everyday, and I'm not trying to say that Kyle Rittenhouse is normal, because he's not, he's a jackass, but he's not hanging out with everyday normal people. The Mar-a-Lago types are the people that he hangs out with. He hangs out with elitists like Elon Musk. So should we be surprised the only people that he listens to are billionaires like Elon Musk? Should we be surprised at that? No, these are his friends.
Right. People need to go back and look at what they call the Gilded Age and the robber barons. That's all this is. Exactly. Thank you so much.
Thank you, my dear. Have a great holiday. Have a good weekend. I appreciate you. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. We have one phone line open. Let's go to Estella. Estella is next up on PTL. Hey, Estella.
Hey.
What's on your mind
To
today?
watch well, my theory is Elon Musk has got something on Trump. I think he did something with the election, because how did he win those 7 states?
So here's my theory. Here's my theory on that. And I'm not saying you're wrong, but here's my theory.
Okay.
I do believe that Vladimir Putin has something on Donald Trump. I do believe.
Yeah.
Okay. The reason why I'm not so sure, and I'm not saying you're wrong, I'm saying I'm not so sure, is because Elon Musk is in this for self-interest and money. And he is not stupid. And he understood that he puts a couple $100 million into something. It could be a couple $100 billion in a span of a month. And guess what? He was right. So
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying that for Elon Musk, this was all about money for him, his bottom line. That's it.
And Trump said, we have a secret weapon. And they knew before the election was over that they had won. How is that? And how did they win those 7 swing states?
So again,
okay, I could see 1 or 2, but not 7.
Well, here's what we know for sure. We know that the popular vote was won by Donald Trump somewhere around 1.4 to 1.6%. One of the closest, one of the
It was
closest,
1.5.
right? One of the closest elections in American history. With that said, he took all the swing states. Now, all those swing states combined, he won by about 250,000 votes that could have swung the election, which is nothing. The only reason why I don't go down that path is because I haven't seen, even though it doesn't make sense, and even though you could say to yourself, how can an election be this close and he can win all the swing states? I get why you're saying that. I don't go down the road of it was stolen or Elon Musk cheated or the Republicans cheated, because I haven't seen actual evidence to prove it, right? If something doesn't make sense, you know what I mean?
Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
When in history has there been split tickets where the president went to one party and the rest of the ticket went to the other party?
Well, no, I listen, I understand what you're saying. I hear you. This was a very strange.
Something's not right. And I'm sorry, but I don't trust Elon Musk.
Neither do I.
As far as I can throw him.
Neither do I.
He's in it for the money. You're right.
Yeah.
He's in it for the money. And I just don't get it. I don't get how even it was 1.5%.
All right, but here's the
close.
problem. Okay, I hear what you're saying, but here's the problem that we face, okay? In order to bring it to the courts, there has to be actual evidence, and they don't have any, right? They
didn't have any when he was contesting.
Well, yeah, and Democrats didn't storm the Capitol and people didn't die.
Right.
So yeah, I'm not making that comparison. I'm just saying that there has to be evidence, right? And Kamala Harris has taken the high road. Joe Biden has taken the high road. I don't know if I would have handled it the same way Joe Biden has, but that's who he is, and that's fine. I can appreciate that. But there has to be actual evidence. And until somebody can provide that to me, I'm not willing to say that anything was stolen. But if people want to investigate it on their own and come back to me, I'm happy to listen to them, Estella, and I do appreciate your phone call.
And you know what? We have 4 weeks for somebody to throw a Hail Mary pass.
Well, that's true. Maybe we can just have an entire government shutdown for the next 4 years, and that way Donald Trump will never be.
Let's hope this doesn't happen.
Donald Trump
you
will
have
never
a Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
And
You
thanks
too.
for all you do.
Thank you. You too. Merry Christmas to you. Make sure you buy those $2 made Christmas ornaments made in China for $99. Melania Trump. What a great deal. By the way, speaking of great deals, I have to vent for a moment before I take the next call. And the number to call 702-221-7283. People wondering why I like throw up after I have lunch sometimes. I had a McRib last week. I don't eat very well sometimes, at least for lunch. Dinner, I eat better. I went to Popeye's Chicken today, and I got a meal for $17. I'm not joking. I go to Popeye's, sharing you my Popeye's grievances for a moment. Forgive me. I asked for a chicken finger meal. They gave me the wrong meal. So that was problem number one. Number two, it was the worst chicken I've ever ate in my life. It was awful. That was number two. Number three, it was $17. And then the guy says, what type of sauce would you like with your chicken? I said, could I have honey mustard? There's like 5 pieces of chicken in there, and he gives me 1 honey mustard. So I said, Hey, can I get a couple extra, please? He's like, yeah, how many do you want? I said, give me 5. They charged me for every extra $17 for the most disgusting lunch I've ever had. I'm never going to Popeyes again. Oh my God, it was so disgusting. I guess they won't be sponsoring my show anytime soon. Boy, that's too bad. I do like Raising Cane's though. They don't sponsor my show. I like Raising Cane's. They're good chicken. And it's cheaper. 702-221-7283. 702-221-7283. Let's go to Nick. Nick is on now, pushing the limits. What's up, Nick?
Hey, how you doing?
Good. What's on your mind?
I just want to say, first off, I'm a Hispanic male. Okay, and the rhetoric that they put out there for Hispanic men and Latinos to accept that the deportation, it just really blows me away that, people like that would accept that kind of person into our government, especially in the White House as a president, and especially the House. When the House was in control, what did they pass? What was their complaints? It was always about Hunter Biden. It was about the laptop. They were trying to impeach President Biden for 4 years. Like, what did they accomplish? And how are they able to win the House and the Senate?
Well,
that
I agree.
Kind of blows me away there.
There's a lot that blows me away. So let's dissect what you talked about. First of all, forget about even just being Hispanic. How about just being an immigrant in general? Go back to your S-hole countries. These Mexicans, they're rapists and bad people.
Right.
And I suppose some of them are good people. He told members of the squad to go back to where they came from when some of them are natural-born Americans. And now you mentioned the immigration deal and Tom Holm, who I think is just an awful human being. The scare tactics, do I think he's going to deport 20 million people? Probably not. But the scare tactics of even saying that, and then when he's asked, well, do you want to break up families? What if you have one person in a family and they have kids that have been born here and they all pay their taxes? His response, well, we don't want to separate families. They can all leave together. Right. It's abundantly racist and disgusting, and that's who Donald Trump is, and that's who Holm is. That's who they are.
Growing up, racism was pretty much frowned upon growing up. But, since Donald Trump has came into politics and got into office, it's more open and not less frowned upon here. Like the racism is just so crazy out here. I just can't believe that, it's acceptable by the country that was founded by immigrants. It just blows me away with this. And I saw your show, just happened to run into it, man, and you're doing great work. I just wanted to call and,
thank you, my friend.
Throw my opinions out there, and thank you for having me on your show.
Of course, and I appreciate your phone call, my friend. Thank you so much. What he says rings so true. I think we all knew that racism exists in this country, unless you're a racist yourself. I think we all know that there's bigotry, there's racism, misogyny. We all knew that all these people exist among us, right? But I never knew how many of them existed, right? And I think that if there's one thing Donald Trump has done is he's exposed how many bad people there are in this country, people that we call friends, maybe people in our families, not mine, by the way, people in our families, close friends, and we never knew how stupid they were and how bigoted in nature they were and how racist they are until we found out how much they support Donald Trump, Orange Man. I'm just mesmerized on how they continue to curl themselves into a pretzel and defend this 34-count felon, liable sexual abuser. I'm mesmerized. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Let's go to Dale. Dale is next up on PTL. Hey, Dale, thanks for calling in. What's on your mind?
Well, I'm from Mississippi, and I tell you what, I think how Trump got in there is basically playing the race card, saying that I'm going to get your stuff back that black folks and Hispanics done took away from you. They done took your country from you. If you vote for me, I'm going to get your stuff back. And I think that's how America's feeling right now. The minorities that took everything from them, and Trump gonna get it back.
What would you say, Dale, to an organization like Blacks for Trump when Donald Trump only hires one black person in his administration thus far, urban development? It's a white administration, just like it was in 2016. And I'm wondering, what would you say to those organizations like Blacks for Trump?
Well, apparently you still got black. I'll say this: you got blacks in whiteface with an organization like that.
That's an interesting way to put it. And to be honest with you, I don't necessarily disagree with you. I think it's voting against your own interest. And
being a white supremacist in blackface, you got them.
You know, and it's interesting you bring up white supremacists because they have this event in Phoenix, the Charlie Kirk event, that's taking place in Phoenix today. And when I call, right, and when I call, you know, a lot of these Trump rallies, that's sort of the feeling of what it is in Phoenix these couple days. When I call it a Klan meeting, that's what I feel like. You know, it's just a bunch of morons. Tucker Carlson last night talking about how horrible women are that get abortions. Today I have that dumbbell Danica Patrick who couldn't win one race, a race car driver who couldn't win one race, and she was, you know, all on the tiptoes of Robert F. Kennedy Jr., and she's talking about health to people in Phoenix. She's talking about the vaccines, that dope who couldn't even win a race. And she's talking about the vaccines today. You look at the disgusting, horrible people that are speaking at that event in Phoenix. It is like a Klan rally. That's what it is.
So don't be surprised. It's only going to get worse.
I don't disagree with you. I wish that wasn't the case. I wish I could disagree with you, sir, but I don't. And I appreciate your phone call. 702-221-7283. Let's go to Jarvis. Jarvis is next up on PTL. Hey, Jarvis, thanks for calling in. What's on your mind?
Hey, what's going on, man? I love the show.
Thank you.
Started watching you when you had about 10,000 subscribers. You have exploded.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. Thank you.
I love it. I just want to say one thing, man. It's shocking. It's not even shocking at this point that every single racist that I know is a Republican. Not every Republican's a racist, but every racist is a Republican. And it is crazy that anyone would support that type of group.
That's not an exaggeration. I wish I could say, sir, you're exaggerating. I haven't seen or heard of one racist person that is against black people or minorities in general that is a lefty. Why is that?
Right.
Why is that?
It's crazy that even people would just kind of turn a cheek to that or turn a blind eye to that. Oh, it's okay. I know it's in my party, but I'm not even gonna.
Jarvis, you know what they'll say? Oh, well, it was the Democrats that created the Klan. I'm not talking about. It's interesting. They want to talk about history, but then when it comes to slavery and when it comes to critical race theory, they don't want to talk about it. Let's talk about 2024. Last I checked, David Duke is not a Democrat. He's a Republican. Last I checked, Proud Boy members are not liberals. They're Republicans. Oath Keepers are not liberals. They're Republicans. The people that stormed the Capitol were not liberals. They were hate fringe groups from the right. You are absolutely right. They will lie and they will say, oh no, the racists are on the left. No, they're not. Those on the left are pro-LGBT community. Those on the left are pro-transgender. Those on the left were some of those who were protesting peacefully during the Black Lives Matter protest. They are a bunch of liars, and the hatred and the bigotry and the misogyny mostly is coming from the far right. There's no doubt about that, Jarvis.
Yep. Love the show, man. Keep it up.
Thanks Jarvis. Appreciate the call, my friend. Thank you so much. 702-221-7283. There we go. There's a guy that's been following me for a little bit. You know, I had 10,000 followers on YouTube. Wasn't that long ago. Maybe, I don't know, 4 months ago, maybe 3 or 4 months ago. We're gaining like 500 subscribers a day. We're over 53,000 now, last I checked. So I'm very appreciative to all of you for subscribing to my YouTube page, and it has exploded. Not the 12-second explosion that Donald Trump had with Stormy Daniels. That's a different explosion. 702-221-7283. Boy, during lunch hour, people just all lost their appetite. If not my Popeyes story, the Donald Trump explosion story. Let's go to Rob. Rob is next up on PTL. Hey, Rob, what's going on, man?
Hi, I was looking for a news station. First time I ran across your voice. I recognized it. You used to be on like a morning show where you guys had like opposing views. There was 2 hosts, and you always used to get upset at the guy that was late. I remember that. And but it was a good banter back and forth. the reason why I was calling was, do you know what's going on at Charleston? They got the whole road blocked. There's like maybe 50 cop cars out there. Have you heard anything about that?
I haven't, Rob. I will add a little bit where we yeah, I don't. We kind of focus on national stories now, but but that's okay. That's all right. Yes, I did do it. Yeah, go ahead.
I was listening to the callers before.
Yes.
And I'm an independent, a true independent. So I know like most of the listeners is, oh, he's conservative. I would give a little bit of advice, and it's not like I'm saying people are wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I think, like we didn't live in Las Vegas, right? When you get in poker and you're playing poker, I don't know if you know how to play poker, but I'm assuming you do.
I do. Yep.
Okay. You got to play the card you are the cards you are dealt to the best of the ability. If you just fold, that might be the best move sometimes, but.
Okay, so give me an example. Give me an example, like politically, on what you're referring to. I get your analogy, but give me like
I'm saying, like everybody out here is like, the administration is just going to start. I would say, make it better. Stand on the shoulder of the giants. Whisper in their ear.
Did he make it better in 2016? Did he make it better?
You know what's really weird about it, though?
Yeah.
If he used to be a Democrat, and people, if he got praise from Democrats, from the liberal media, I really, truly believe they could have swayed him, because that's what he's looking for.
Okay, but let me ask you this.
understand?
Okay, but let me ask you this.
All right.
I agree with you that all he wants is praise, but here's the thing. Why should somebody praise a guy who is a liable sexual abuser who has abused women, in my opinion, his entire life, a guy that is a snake oil salesman and just a horrible human being? Why would anybody praise somebody like that is, I guess, my question to you. It doesn't matter whether you're a Republican or a Democrat. Go ahead.
I think your name is Brian, right? Am I wrong?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I've been called worse. Yes, sir.
Okay. No, I think your name is Brian, so I didn't want to get the wrong.
Yes.
I got the two O's maybe confused. No. I'm not saying praise those acts, Brian. What I'm saying is, suggest a policy like this budget impasse that everybody has right now. And, everybody's got to agree, whether you're a liberal or you're a Republican.
But they did. But hold on. But
I have this saying.
But that's my point. Hold on about your saying for a moment. They did agree. Mike Johnson, the Democrats and Republicans had a bipartisan bill that was ready to be passed. The person that interfered with it is the guy that you're talking about, Donald Trump and President Musk. They're the ones that interfered, just like they did with a bipartisan bill at the border. They had a bipartisan bill that was ready to go. It wasn't perfect, and Donald Trump interfered in that as well. And now we're in the situation we're in, make no mistake about it, because of Donald Trump.
I don't totally disagree with you, Brian, but what I'm trying to say is we spend too much money in this country, and I truly believe, I'm going to take your side, that there's a big wealth inequity.
Yeah.
Like Social Security, for one example, and I don't want to hog the whole show, the Social Security, for one example, people stopped paying into it after $168,000. So in about less than a nanosecond, Elon Musk has satisfied his Social Security payments for the whole year. You know what I'm talking about? When 2025 rolls around.
I do. And listen.
And that's wrong.
May I ask you a question, sir, if you don't mind?
Go ahead.
You're an independent like I am. If you don't mind me asking you, who did you vote for? And it doesn't matter whether I agree with it or not. I'm just curious.
I don't hate me.
I'm not going to hate you.
Donald Trump.
I don't hate people.
You know why?
Hold on. I don't hate people for voting for Donald Trump. I hate people for not explaining to me in an articulate way why. That's what I don't like.
Because I can explain it to you.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
So I thought he was the lesser of two evils. In truth, Brian, what I believe, and you may disagree with this completely, but I'll just be honest. I believe that the Republicans don't give a crap about the poor, and that the Democrats use the poor.
Okay,
so
even if that, okay, but let's go with that.
Way.
Let's go with that for a moment. But why do you think Kamala Harris is evil?
I didn't say she was evil.
You said you voted for the lesser of two evils. That would lead me to believe that Donald Trump and Kamala Harris are evil.
That's somewhat of a figure of speech. It's like you just explained, like you didn't like your Popeyes. if you were there again, I bet you wouldn't have ordered the chicken fingers. You might have had the dark meat or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
you would have picked the
but we're not-
lesser of the bad choices.
Yeah, but we're not talking about food. We're talking about lawmakers. And what was it about Kamala Harris that you didn't like so much that you said to yourself?
Real easy. I can explain. I
Okay.
can explain that succinctly. She really didn't have any particular policy.
Okay, what's Donald Trump's health policy?
policy?
What's Donald Trump's health care policy? He's had 9 years. Can you tell me what his health care policy is?
Unfortunately, the Republicans have.
No, I'm not. I'm not.
Republican, but they've negated.
I'm not talking about the Republicans. I'm talking about the guy you voted for. You care about policy? Healthcare is top 3 on everybody's mind. What is Donald Trump's healthcare policy?
I believe, well, right now, what I've heard before the election is that the healthcare system is going to get revamped.
Donald Trump doesn't have a plan. He
people are
says
gonna be-
he doesn't have a plan. He said he has concepts of a plan, and he's had 9 years to think about it. You know what Kamala Harris's policy is on gun control. You know what Kamala Harris's policy was on abortion. You know what Kamala Harris's policy was on health care. You know what Kamala Harris's policy was on taxes. You know what Kamala Harris's policy was on homes and foreclosures. I don't understand what you mean, and I'm not getting angry at you. It's a conversation.
No.
What do you mean when you didn't know her policies? Give me something where you say, geez,
Okay.
I have no idea where she stood on that policy.
Hey, Brian, a true fact here is most of America didn't think that the Biden administration.
I'm not asking
was
you what
doing
people.
better for America.
I'm not
Well,
asking
listen,
you, sir.
She said on the news. She said on the news when asked by interview, and I don't know. I wasn't planning to call you on and talk about it, but hey, she said on the news, "What would you do different?" And she says, "I can't think of anything."
I didn't ask you, but that
Brian,
wasn't
when
my.
60%
But that
of
wasn't.
America thought we were on the wrong track.
Okay, so first of
I'm
all,
saying it.
7 out of 10 Republicans think that Donald Trump won the 2020 election. So I really don't care what the mass majority of somebody in some poll. I'm asking you a specific question, and you haven't given me an answer. You just said that you don't know where Kamala Harris. Hold on, you don't know where. Hold on, you don't know where Kamala Harris stood on policy. I just rattled off a bunch of policies.
I do. You rattled those off. We knew what she liked. But
So
how
you
she
did
was
know the
gonna make
policies.
America-
You just don't agree with them. Then is that fair to say? You knew her policies. You just didn't agree with them.
I wanted to know what was okay. I'm going to be honest. Like $25,000. If she was going to give $25,000 to new home buyers, that would increase the price of everybody's. That's just a car warning me. That would increase the price of everybody's home by $25,000.
Okay.
It didn't do anything. It was sort of like.
All right, so let's go with that. Your biggest policy disagreement with Kamala Harris, because that's the first thing you brought up, was that you don't like a $25,000 down payment for those struggling to help them buy a home, but you completely looked over the fact that Donald Trump has no health care replacement plan, that Donald Trump has had the top tax breaks for the top 1%, and I haven't even mentioned
I didn't develop it, dude.
I didn't even, hold on. I didn't even mention his behavior, criminal or not. The fact that he's a 34 count felon, the fact that he's a liable sexual abuser, the fact that he attacks and insults anybody that disagrees with him. I didn't bring up January 6th with you.
All of those cases have been dismissed. The sexual
Absolutely
case
not
is still
true.
going through, but it could be true.
Absolutely not true. The Fani Willis case has not been dismissed. She's been dismissed. The case has not been dismissed. And when it comes to a liable sexual abuser, that has also not been dismissed. And when it comes to the other New York case, they are trying to postpone it until after he's president. So you are factually incorrect. But
I'm not going to play. Brian, I like you. And I'm not arguing. It sounds like we're having an argument.
We're having a debate. We're having a debate. I like you too. It's not personal. We're having a debate.
I respect you totally.
I respect.
What I'm trying to say is for the medical. Let me just 10 seconds.
Okay.
Medical. I think it's going to be more of a laissez-faire. I would like people to be healthier in this country and not smoke cigarettes and not worry about.
And you think Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is the guy that, and you think Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is the guy that's going to make us all healthy, the guy that's anti-vaccine.
I wish he was running. I would have voted for him. I'm just telling you.
So the guy
I
that
voted for Robert F. Kennedy.
Okay, so let's
But the
hold on.
Democrats didn't like him, dude.
Let's retract a little bit. So the guy who beheads whales, who stages bear murders in Central Park, the guy who thinks that COVID attacked certain ethnicities and religions, you would have voted for president, but you don't like Kamala Harris because you don't like that $25,000 down payment she was going to help families and people for buying homes, but you're still willing to look over the 34 count felonies, the liable sexual abuse, the fact that he has no replacement plan for health care. You want everybody to be healthy. I agree with you. I'm with you on that. But yet you're totally overlooking the fact that Donald Trump has claimed he had a health care replacement plan and he has concepts of a plan, but yet you're totally willing to overlook that. And the only criticism to Kamala, because you said you voted for the lesser of two evils, was you didn't like that $25,000 down payment on a home. Do you see why I get a little bit frustrated, with all due respect?
I listened real good. So 10 seconds better reply. It's not so much that I didn't think the $25,000 plan was the bad thing that's going to make me vote against her. It was just a stupid idea. It wasn't going to do much. The fact that Robert F. Kennedy has some imperfections, hey, President Biden had imperfections too. There was sexual abuses against him.
Not true. Not true. Not true. Not true.
Yes.
Joe Biden has never been found liable for anything. There was one woman that came forward that changed her story 4 times. There was no civil case and no criminal case. There have been, hold on. No, that's a false equivalency. I can't let you get away with that. I know you don't want to argue, but you're bringing up sexual abuse with Joe Biden when 25 women have come forward and claimed that Donald Trump raped or allegedly sexually abused him. Liable, found in a court of law. There is no analogy to make between Joe Biden and sexual allegations and Donald Trump. Come on, man. You can't do that. Come on, man.
All right, so I don't want to hog it all day. I don't want to acquiesce, but I'm going to go. It's your show, dude. And I really, I'm glad that you're putting up an opposing view. And I don't want to play the role of your ex-host. I mean, it feels like it, though.
No, we
Brian,
just respectfully disagree.
On this note, and it's not a Trump note. I think in the United States of America, the term us means us. When you disagree with somebody, and you don't like that person because of the disagreement, you got to work to play the best hand you can. I think that the more wise choice, instead of saying somebody's a weirdo, a criminal, is, hey, well, the reality is the reality you got to deal with.
And you think Donald Trump, and here's where and by the way, sir, I do appreciate, I appreciate,
that's all I'm trying to say.
I appreciate the conversation and I appreciate your call. I respectfully disagree with you. Donald Trump is doing it right now. Democrats are willing to work with Republicans. They said it last night on the House floor. They said that they were willing to work with Republicans when it came to getting this deal done. You're making it like the Democrats aren't playing the hand that they have. Yes, they are. They're willing to work with Donald Trump. Donald Trump and Elon Musk and the Republicans are not allowing the Democrats to sit at the table. A perfect example of this right now. You're making it like the Democrats are not willing to work across the table. I'm sorry, sir. I just disagree with you on that, but I do appreciate your phone call. And thank you so much. All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, here's something interesting that some of you might be interested in learning. I know Matt Gaetz will. No, in all seriousness, some adult websites are being banned. The owners are banning membership in certain states. I'll tell you why coming up next, and we have a couple very special guests to talk about this. We'll be back right after this. It's Pushing the Limits right here on KSHP.
Hey, everybody. Are you struggling to find a pizza place that reminds you of Brooklyn? That true blue New York style pie? Well, worry no more. Stallone's Italian Eatery Pizza is a knockout. We're located at 467 East Silverado Ranch Boulevard, just off of Premier Road, half a mile east of South Point Casino, just minutes from the Las Vegas Strip. Come by and grab a slice of pie. Plus, check out our Brooklyn-inspired Italian cuisine. Our sandwiches are super. Hero, that is. Because why be a sub?
Come tonight to find out.
Be a hero. Stallone's Italian Eatery is here to serve you phenomenal food, Vegas.
I love it.
Forget about it.
Sam, so much. Yes. Oh. Yes, Lucid. I'm so glad you're coming tonight. We're all gonna be coming. So good.
All right, welcome back. It is Pushing the Limits on a Friday, a very busy Friday. Thank you so much for joining us. It is interesting. I've talked about this topic before where the right-wing evangelicals and those on the far right want to ban pornography. Mike Johnson, don't even get me started with him with his accountability partner nonsense. But now it could be affecting you. How, you say? Well, the website Pornhub has blocked anybody starting January 1st, 2025 in Florida from using their website altogether. Why? Because some of these states are having stricter laws put in place of having to show a driver's license, proof of a driver's license, to use one of these sites. So to talk to us about this, we have two lovely ladies. One, of course, a former pastor, now turned life coach, and the other, a former teacher, now turned OnlyFans model. And they're both making boatloads of money. And it's a pleasure to have both of them on, Nicole Mitchell and Courtney Tilia. Ladies, thank you so much for joining us. A pleasure to have you guys on, as always. Good to see you.
Thank you for having
All right,
me.
Nicole, let me start with you quickly here. What do you make of this story? And thank you for being here, by the way, with Pornhub blocking members in Florida because of these new strict laws.
I mean, this whole scenario is like psycho. Like, instead of addressing things that actually matter, like guns in schools and healthcare, things that like actually affect the lives and quality of lives for people, right? Like, let's ban porn. Let's punish people who make porn. Let's punish content creators. So I think, unfortunately, I don't like that Pornhub is in this position. But if that's what they have to do to protect their bottom line and protect their business, then pull out. Like, this is a time to pull out to deal with the crazy scenario that they are currently facing.
I could say Donald Trump has made a living doing that, but I would never make a joke like that. Courtney, I want to go to you now, Courtney, and thank you so much for joining us as well. All right, let me play devil's advocate here. People out there that would say, well, wait, this is a good thing. Stricter laws, show your driver's license to make sure that young children aren't on adult websites. What would you say to that?
You know, they always go at it from this approach, like, let's protect the children. That's always their thing, because in the end, we can all agree on protecting the children, but their agenda and their goal and their what they're going after is not actually protecting the children. We've witnessed that with the abortion ban, and now we are seeing new bills that say, well, let's give women who even search for an abortion the death penalty. And so this is just them going after their goals of getting rid of porn and creators completely.
All right, so let me ask you both this question. This is just Pornhub, but do you feel like this could be just the start? We could be going to OnlyFans. We could be going to other websites where state by state, especially if they're conservative run states, that they will be making laws stricter, for lack of a better term. Do you feel like this is just the beginning? And Courtney, I'll start with you on this one, and that it could be a trickle down effect when it comes to adult websites.
Absolutely. They always go after the big companies first to kind of set an example. Pornhub is the 19th most visited website in the world overall, and the #1 for adult content. So they're going to go after them to make an example, and we will continue to see a trickle down effect of going after anybody who is creating porn, because that's really what they're after. They don't want any adult content, adult creators. And there is 1 billion porn views per year on Pornhub. Making it go away isn't going to make the issue or people's desire for that content go away. It just, again, makes it unsafe for the creators, the consumers, and that's kind of what they're going after.
Agree. Nicole, what do you say to that?
Yeah, this really affects the livelihoods of content creators at the end of the day. It doesn't really do much for children. In fact, it harms them. I'm the provider for my children. And if they took down OnlyFans or even TikTok, for example, like, they're always constantly going after things that don't matter as much as, let's address the gun problem in America. No, let's focus on TikTok. Let's focus on Pornhub. So if they took OnlyFans away from us, or, you know, even content creators on Pornhub, that's a direct impact on their bank account, which directly impacts their ability to provide for their families and children. So if you actually care about the well-being of children, you shouldn't take away the livelihood or jobs of those who are providing for them.
Agree. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I'll ask both of you this. Florida, run predominantly by conservative Republicans. It's not the left that is doing this right now. I'm sure there are plenty of Democrats out there that don't want someone who's 12 or 14 years old on some of these adult websites. I can understand that. I don't either. I'm sure you both don't want that. But it seems to me across the country that it is more the right-wing evangelicals and those that are on the far right that speak anti-porn constantly. In fact, every time when the AVN Awards are out here every year, it always seems like these right-wing fringe groups are protesting. And I've seen it with my own eyes. So are these are right-wing conservatives that are putting these stricter laws in place, or is it a mix of both Democrats and Republicans? For either of you that want to answer that.
Go for it, Courtney.
It's definitely you definitely are gonna have some Democrats in there, but predominantly this is gonna be your evangelicals. This is a product of Project 2025. You're gonna see a lot of those right-winged conservatives really pushing this and financially backing this, which we've witnessed over and over again through this entire election. That financial backing helps put out bad propaganda, puts out false information, and people are like, oh my gosh, children are accessing porn. Well, not really. So they're just pushing things out there like that to really get their message across.
I'm wondering, Nicole, because I agree. I remember this guy, Mark Robinson, who ran for office, I believe in North Carolina, and he would speak publicly anti-pornography. And then these people came out of the woodworks and said, well, wait a second, I run a porn video store, and I've seen this guy in there like a dozen times. He had memberships to all these different pornography websites, which, by the way, don't have a problem with, but apparently it was looked up that he was watching gay pornography, which, again, to each their own, don't have a problem with it, but this was the same guy who spoke anti-LGBTQ rights. It seems like we get a lot of those types of hypocrites, and maybe even some of them that watch both of you, which is great, but then speak against what both of you do for a living.
100%. They care about power. They care about control. They don't care about integrity. They don't care about values. They don't care about the children. They care about money and power at the end of the day, and they will say whatever it takes. And I've talked to politicians about this, where they've said, I've joined the Republican because I know they're going to win. So I'll spew what they want me to say if that means I get a political position, which is disgusting. Like, they're willing to lie and push an agenda they don't believe in because it's going to give them power. And I just want to put it out there, Facebook is one of the biggest spreaders of child pornography, and yet they're coming after content creators. So look at like where that stuff is actually taking place. Because, like, for example, OnlyFans, you can't be a kid and log in. Right. You do have to prove your age. So it is a lot harder for any child to access OnlyFans, but super easy on Facebook. So why would you come after OnlyFans content creators and not deal with a major issue on a free platform where people are posting horrific stuff? So it just shows like they don't really care about children. They care about money, power, and control at the end of the day.
Agree. I feel the same way for years about gambling, online gambling, where it was so many Republicans. I mean, I respect John McCain, but for years he was against online gambling, and then he was caught in the House chambers during a hearing playing poker on his phone. It was insane. And now, for the most part, online gaming is available in this country for the most part. I feel the same way about marijuana until the government got their big piece of the pie. Then all of a sudden they legalized it. They didn't not legalize it because it was unhealthy for Americans. They just decided to not legalize it because they wanted a piece of the pie, and a lot of people were becoming rich off of it. Do you feel like, to an extent, it's the same thing here, where if the government gets a bigger piece of the pie, they'll probably make it easier and more accessible to people in state by state?
Okay,
I would say absolutely.
I'm like, yes, because they always want more money, but also America's very prude. Right?
Yeah,
that's where, like, I think they are stuck between a rock and a hard place. They see the massive money that's made through adult content, but they also have to take the stance that they're somehow a Christian nation with Christian values. So I think they are stuck between a hard place. So I think if they push for a ban, it looks like they're a leader, but behind the scenes, they're trying to come up with a way to milk it for themselves. So they're in a tough place, because if they would drop the fake prudeness and just accept and own that adult pleasure is okay and consensual and desirable, they could make a lot more money from it.
Agree. So, Courtney, what can we do about this? It's already started in Florida. I'm sure there's a lot of people that are Pornhub fans that are in Florida, and they're pretty disappointed by this. What type of country are we living in now? And I don't want to make an analogy to like abortion, but I guess in this aspect, I guess I'll make a bad one, where I don't think geography should have anything to do with a woman's body, right? You shouldn't have to go to another state to get an abortion, but I would also say you shouldn't have to go to another state to go on an adult website. I mean, one's more serious than the other, but the point still stands. Why should geography have anything to do with this?
And you know that Florida is going to be the 6th state in the pornography ban from Pornhub. And so they're joining. And so, again, what we're seeing across between abortion and this, and I'm sure we'll see it across many other bills and platforms, is we're just seeing this trickle out effect of more conservative values, more control over people, what they can consume, what they can do, what they can do with their body. And so we're just continuing to see that like widespread out. It's scary. And I think the big thing that we really are witnessing is we're witnessing so much shame that people have in themselves, in their pleasure, and their sexuality. And that's why you see like, oh, porn is wrong, but they're mass consuming porn of some consent of some type behind the scenes. If we didn't have so much shame and guilt as a nation, we could actually, one, the government could probably make some type of profit if that's their end goal. But in the end, we could make it safe for everybody, the consumer, the people producing the content. Everybody would be so much safer if we could just let it be that it's okay.
I feel the same way about prostitution. I think it should be legalized. I think it's safer for the women. It's safer for the customer. Prostitution is legal about 45 minutes outside of Las Vegas in a town called Pahrump. But yet in Las Vegas, you see cars everywhere that say women direct to you when we really know what's going on there. But it's technically not legal. There are more important things that I'm sure law enforcement are concerned about. All right, final question to both of you, which would be, what can we do about this? How do we change this?
Honestly, subscribe to our accounts. You want to support adult content, you want to support content creators, subscribing to the people who actually create it and do it ethically is the way to go. And second, another problem about this is like I was in DC for the first time last month, and Pornhub is banned in DC. So when I went on there, it's not there because I wanted to test it for myself. So I had to go to other sites that I'm not as familiar with, and I don't know the ethics of their content. Was this uploaded ethically? Was this uploaded with consent? Are these of age content creators? Because now when you take away the main platform, you're allowing these underrated, evaluated other sites to come out, and we don't know where that content is coming from. So if you want to support content creators, support OnlyFans creators, support websites where we are creating it ethically and from our own desire. We are of age, it is consensually done. And second, I want to say, I just saw an article yesterday that Texas proposed a ban on the sale of sex toys in their state. So it's just so ridiculous. So
they'll ban sex toys, but AR-15s in the hands of a bunch of 18-year-olds is totally fine. Oh my God, what a joke. Why am I not surprised? Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to go on strike myself, and I'm going to start up a website called pastybaldradiohostnaked.com. And I'll just punish everybody, and I'll start that website up. Anyway.
Start promoting it and targeting it to the Republicans.
Yeah, there you go. I should do that. Hey, before I let both of you go, can you give out your social media and all the information, how people can join your OnlyFans? Both of you give that out for our listeners.
Yeah, you can find me. I have a website, NicoleMitchell.com. Nicole is NIKOLE. It's has all my links. Tonight is actually my big OnlyFans performance for the month. This is my XXX performance. So if you want to come, I would love to have you.
That sounds like a lot of fun. Courtney, give out that information.
Yeah, I'm CourtneyTilia.com, and the last name is TILLIA, and Courtney with a C. And you get all my links there. And then I'm doing detention because since I was that naughty teacher, we do detention live every Sunday at 5 p.m.
That's a detention I would love to have, by the way. Put me in detention for like 3 weeks straight. On a side note, I am taking Nicole to the AVN Expo. And Courtney, you are invited as well if you'd like to come out to Vegas.
I'll
gladly take you out as well. So we're going to have some fun. And no Republicans are going to stop us. I promise you that.
I won't let them ever stop me.
Good. Nicole Mitchell and Courtney Tilia, I love both of you. You're awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll talk to you soon. Have a great weekend. Okay.
Thank you too.
Thank you. Take care. Nicole Mitchell and Courtney Tilia. They are awesome. They are great. And instead of interviewing pasty white Republicans, it's nice to have that for a change. I'll say I have a tough job, but somebody has to do it. I know my producer agrees with me on that one. Anyway. It is Friday. I lost my train of thought there for a second. It's back for a moment. I was just thinking about Popeye's chicken. That's what I was thinking about. I was thinking about the breast, the Popeye's chicken. Oh, geez, did I just say that? That's horrible. Anyway, check out my website, pushingthelimits.live. Subscribe to my YouTube page at PTL Radio Show. That's the best that you can do to help us out. Support our sponsors, Jackson's Bar and Grill, the official gaming bar of the Pushing the Limits Radio Show. Pass the puck contest, you could earn $500 in free slot play during a Vegas Golden Knights game. And of course, they give out free bottles of wine and free slot play constantly. Check them for more promotions and details. Jackson's Bar and Grill, located at Flamingo and Jones. Again, the website is pushingthelimits.live. We ask that you check that out. I post new things on my YouTube page at PTL Radio Show. Even though we're not doing a live show Saturday and Sunday, I still post a lot of stuff on YouTube throughout the weekend. So it's more reason to subscribe. It's free at PTL Radio show. And I will work on that website, pastywhiteradiohostnaked.com. I don't know if I'll think about it. I know I'm getting a lot of people that are pushing me to do it. I'll think about it. Thanks to all my guests, of course, including director John Long, Nicole Mitchell, Courtney Tilia, for joining us. Hey, on Monday, we got a treat for you. Yes, from Midas Touch, very popular, Adam Mockler is going to be joining us. So that's going to be a lot of fun on Monday. Everybody have a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday.
Hey, everybody, are you struggling to find a pizza place that reminds you of Brooklyn? That true blue New York style pie? Well, worry no more. Stallone's Italian Eatery Pizza is a knockout. We're located at 467